My parents left me at a gas station as a joke. Let's see how long it takes him to get home. I never went back. 20 years later, they finally found me. This morning, 39 missed calls. I never thought I'd be sharing this story, but after seeing a TikTok about parents teaching their kids lessons, something in me just snapped. I'm 36 now, but I can still smell the gasoline and feel the hot summer air from that day 20 years ago. My parents, Gerald and Denise, were what you'd call tough love enthusiasts. Growing up, everything was a life lesson or a character-building exercise. They'd do things like wake me up at 3 a.m. to mow the lawn because I forgot to do it the day before, or make me walk to school in the rain when I missed the bus, even though Mom was heading that direction anyway. That July morning started like any other summer day. We were driving back from visiting my sister Sabrina at college, about 4 hours from home. I was in the back seat, half asleep, listening to my iPod. Yeah, dating myself here. Dad needed to get gas, so we pulled into this middle-of-nowhere station off I-95. "Scott, go get me a coffee," Dad barked from the driver's seat. I dragged myself out, grabbed his cash, and went inside. The cashier was this older guy who looked half dead from the heat. The coffee machine was broken, so I had to wait while he made a fresh pot. When I came back out, the car was gone. At first I thought they'd moved to a different pump. Then I noticed our beat-up Camry pulling onto the highway. I stood there, coffee getting cold in my hand, watching their taillights disappear. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Let's see how long it takes you to get home. Consider this a lesson in problem solving." That fucking smiley face. I tried calling. Straight to voicemail. Every time. After about 20 minutes, Mom sent another text. "Don't bother calling. Your father says you need to figure this out yourself. See you when you make it home." Here's the thing. This wasn't even the worst thing they'd done. 2 years earlier, they'd locked me out of the house in February because I got a C+ in chemistry. Maybe a night in the cold will help you focus on your studies. That time, I broke into our garage and slept there. They were pissed about the broken window. Made me pay for it with my McDonald's money. Standing there at that gas station, something just clicked, or maybe broke. I looked at that coffee in my hand, still steaming, and realized I was done. Just done. I had about $140 saved up from my summer job at the local pool. My backpack was in the car, but I had my wallet and iPod. I went back inside and asked the cashier where the nearest bus station was. "About 2 miles that way," he said, pointing. "You okay, kid?" "Yeah," I said. "Just need to make a call first." I called my Aunt Lola, Mom's sister, who they'd stopped talking to years ago because she enabled bad behavior by buying me a phone when they took mine away. She picked up on the second ring. "They left you where?" What happened next is kind of a blur. Aunt Lola was 4 states away, but she did something I'll never forget. She called me an Uber. It wasn't even called that back then. It was some local taxi service to the bus station and bought me a ticket online. "Get yourself here," she said. "We'll figure the rest out." My phone kept buzzing with texts from Mom. "Don't you dare call Lola. You better be walking home, young man. Your father is very disappointed. This attitude of yours needs to stop." I blocked their numbers, turned off my phone, got on that bus and watched the countryside roll by for 6 hours. The look on their faces when they came home to an empty house must have been something. I heard later from Sabrina that they drove back to the gas station that night, expecting to find me waiting. They filed a missing persons report, but it got dismissed quick when Aunt Lola sent over the emancipation paperwork she'd already started filing. That was 20 years ago. I finished high school living with Aunt Lola, got my GED, then some certification, built a life, got good at fixing things, started my own business, met someone, had kids of my own, never played any teaching moments games with them. I thought that chapter of my life was closed. But yesterday, my office phone rang. The caller ID showed a number I hadn't seen in 2 decades. I didn't pick up, but they found me. And now I've got 39 missed calls and counting. Update. I never check my phone during meetings. It's a rule I've stuck to ever since I started my construction business. But when I walked out of the boardroom yesterday and saw 39 missed calls, my stomach dropped. Most were from numbers I didn't recognize, but 3 were from my sister Sabrina, who I haven't spoken to in 2 decades. For those who missed my first post, quick recap. When I was 16, my parents Gerald and Denise left me at a gas station as a joke to teach me independence. Instead of going home, I took a bus to my aunt's place 2 states away and never looked back. Built my own life, started a construction company, 20 years of blessed silence. Until yesterday. The first voicemail was Sabrina, crying. "Scott, please pick up. Mom and Dad found you. They're spiraling. Just call me back, okay?" Not them. Me. My coffee went cold as I listened to the others. Most were from my parents, alternating between guilt-tripping and demanding I answer. "Your mother is sick." "She's not." "How dare you abandon your family?" Rich coming from them. "We made one mistake." "One? That's hilarious." The last voicemail was my dad, slurring his words. You think you're better than us with your fancy business? We made you who you are. You owe us. I sat in my truck for a long time, watching my phone blow up with more calls. Finally, I texted Sabrina. Meeting tomorrow. Denny's on 5th, 7 a.m. Come alone or don't come. She showed up looking exactly like I remembered, just older. Same nervous habit of shredding napkins. They're losing the house, she blurted before even sitting down. Dad's been gambling. Mom's maxed out their cards. They found your company website and they want money, I finished. The waitress brought coffee. My hands didn't shake as I added cream. Tell me everything. Turns out they've been watching my company's social media for months. Dad's convinced himself I owe them for my success. They need $50,000 to avoid foreclosure. Sabrina kept apologizing, saying she tried to stop them from contacting me. Why help them? I asked. After everything, she started crying. Told me about Dad's drinking getting worse, Mom's shopping addiction, how they blame everyone but themselves. They're still our parents, she whispered. No, I said. They stopped being my parents at that gas station. The difference between you and me, Sabrina? You're still hoping they'll change. My phone buzzed. Mom, calling again. I declined it and pulled out my wallet. I'm paying for breakfast. Block my number after this. Whatever they do next, don't call me. Scott, please. I mean it. You're my sister and I love you, but I'm not your solution. Let them fall. I was halfway to my truck when Sabrina ran after me. They're coming to your office, she shouted. Tomorrow morning. Mom found the address. I tried to stop them. I swear. I just nodded. Good, let them come. Got back to my office to find 27 new messages. Apparently, they're telling the whole family I'm a heartless son who abandoned them and now refuses to help in their time of need. Classic narcissist playbook. But here's what they don't know. I've spent the last 24 hours making calls of my own. Turns out their mortgage is owned by a bank I've worked with. They're 3 months behind on payments. Foreclosure's already started. Tomorrow morning, they'll walk into my office thinking they have leverage, thinking they can shame me, manipulate me, force me to be their retirement plan. They have no idea what's coming. I've scheduled a meeting with my lawyer first thing. By the time they arrive, everything will be in place. They want to see what I've made of myself? Fine. Let them see exactly who their son became and what happens when you push someone too far. I'm not that scared 16-year-old more. I'm not running, and I'm done playing nice. We'll update tomorrow after they show up. Something tells me it's going to be a hell of a show. Edit. For those asking, yes, I'm recording everything. Yes, I have security. No, I won't back down. They made their choice 20 years ago. Now it's my turn. Edit 2. Stop DMing me about forgiving family. You didn't live through what I did. Blood doesn't excuse abuse. And trust me, the gas station was just the tip of the iceberg. Update 2. Hey Reddit. A lot has happened since my last post. I wasn't planning to update so soon, but after what went down yesterday, I need to get this off my chest. I was in my office going through invoices when Jenny, our receptionist, called. Scott, there's a couple here insisting on seeing you. They say they're your parents. My stomach dropped. I'd been expecting this since they found me, but it still hit hard. I told Jenny to send them up. Might as well face this head on. Through the glass walls of my office, I watched Gerald and Denise walk in. They looked older, worn down. Dad's trademark mustache was gray now, and Mom's dyed blonde hair couldn't hide the deep wrinkles around her eyes. They were wearing their Sunday best, the same cheap dress Mom wore to church, and Dad's ancient brown suit that never fit right. The moment they walked in, Mom burst into tears. Not the quiet kind, full-on theatrical sobbing. My baby boy! Look at you all grown up! She tried to hug me. I stepped back. Let's keep this professional, I said, gesturing to the chairs. What do you want? Dad puffed up like he always did when he was about to start preaching. Now, son, is that any way to talk to your mother? After all these years? Cut the bullshit, I interrupted. You didn't spend 20 years looking for me because you missed me. You found me now because you need something. What is it? Mom's crying got louder. How can you be so cruel? We made one little mistake. A mistake? I laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. You left your 16-year-old kid at a gas station 200 miles from home as a joke. Then you drove off laughing, saying, let's see how long it takes him to get home. That wasn't a mistake. That was the last straw after years of your sick games. We came back for you, Dad shouted, standing up. We drove back after an hour, but you were gone. Yeah, I was gone. And I stayed gone. Best decision I ever made. I pulled out my phone and pressed record. Now, state your business or leave. That's when the truth came out. Between Mom's sobs and Dad's angry outbursts, they explained their situation. They'd taken out a second mortgage on the house for Dad's foolproof investment scheme. Now they were 6 months behind on payments. The bank was foreclosing. They needed $175,000 to save their house. You've done so well for yourself, Mom whimpered, gesturing at my office. Surely you can help your own parents? I let them finish. Then I reached into my desk and pulled out a folder. Funny you should mention the house. See, when I heard you were looking for me, I did some digging, found out about the foreclosure. So I had my company buy your mortgage debt from the bank. The silence was beautiful. Their faces went from confusion to shock to fear. What does that mean? Dad's voice had lost its thunder. It means you have 30 days to vacate the property. My company acquired it legally at auction last week. We're demolishing it for a new development project. Mom started wailing. Dad's face turned purple. You can't do this. That's our home. Like the gas station was my home? At least I'm giving you 30 days. You gave me 30 seconds. Dad lunged across the desk. I stood my ground as security rushed in. I'd had them on standby. As they dragged my parents out, Mom screamed that I was evil, that I'd rot in hell. Dad threatened lawsuits. I just watched through the glass as they were escorted out, still recording everything. My phone buzzed, a text from my sister Sabrina. They just called me crying. What did you do? I typed back. What they taught me to do, look out for myself. I've spent 20 years building myself up from nothing. Now I'm going to use everything I've learned to tear down the house that was never really a home. The demolition starts next month. I'll update when it's done. Edit. My aunt, Mom's sister who took me in, just called. She's proud of me. That means more than revenge ever could. Final update. First, thank you all for the support on my previous posts. Never thought my story would get this much attention. What happened in the last few days? Well, let's just say karma finally caught up with them. After I bought their house at the auction, legally through my company, my parents Gerald and Denise completely lost it. They started calling every single relative, telling them how their ungrateful son was throwing them out on the street. Thing is, they didn't expect me to have proof of everything. Remember those old Nokia phones that could record calls? I kept one from back then. Had their prank recorded, them laughing as they drove away, saying, let's see how long it takes him to get home. Kept it all these years. Also had a whole folder of old birthday cards with lovely messages like, maybe if you weren't such a disappointment. Saved up. 20 years of documented emotional abuse, all neatly organized. Yesterday morning, I mass emailed everything to the entire family. Every single relative got to hear that recording. See those cards. Read the text messages. By noon, my sister Sabrina called me crying. Turned out dear old mom and dad had been painting a very different picture all these years. They told everyone I ran away because I was on drugs. Classic. But here's where it gets good. Remember how I said I was going to demolish their house? Well, I did exactly that. Had the permits ready and everything. Called them to come watch. They showed up with my Aunt Lola, Mom's sister, thinking she would talk some sense into me. Instead, they got front row seats to watching their precious house get torn down. Mom was screaming about her garden. Dad was threatening to sue. With what money, Gerald? I stood there drinking my coffee, watching them lose it. 20 years of their abuse, gone in 2 hours. The look on their faces when the bulldozer went through Mom's prize-winning rose garden? Priceless. But I wasn't done. See, that land is actually in a decent location. Instead of some fancy development, I'm building affordable housing. 20 units, reasonable rent, priority given to single parents and their kids. Already got the plans approved. The best part? I'm naming it Annabelle Haven, after my aunt who took me in when I was 16. She passed away last year, but she'd love knowing her name is on something helping people escape bad situations. Mom and Dad tried to rally the neighbors against me, showed them childhood photos of our happy family. Too bad those neighbors remembered how they used to hear me crying at night. One of them, Mrs. Henderson, even came up and hugged me, said she always regretted not calling CPS. This morning was the final showdown. They came to my office again, this time all humble and sorry. Dad actually cried, said they were about to be homeless. Mom promised she'd forgive me if I just helped them out. I let them talk for 10 minutes straight. Then, I handed them a rental application for one of the new units. Told them they're welcome to apply just like anyone else, but they'll need references and a clean credit check. Their faces? Man, wish I had a picture. But we're your parents, Mom screamed. Dad started with his usual, after everything we've done for you, speech. I just smiled and said, yes, after everything you've done, this is exactly what you deserve. The demolition crew starts at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Don't forget to take your garden gnomes. They're still blowing up my phone. Sabrina says they're staying at some cheap motel claiming they'll sue me. Good luck with that. Everything I did was completely legal. Their house goes down tomorrow, and I'm going to live stream it on Instagram for the whole family to see. You know what's funny? For years, I dreamed of revenge, imagined all sorts of crazy scenarios, but in the end, just letting them face the consequences of their actions feels better than anything I could have planned. They threw away their son over a cruel prank, and now they get to watch as everything they built gets torn down to help people they would have looked down on. Tomorrow, I'm bringing lawn chairs and popcorn to watch their house come down. Anyone want to join? Edit. To those asking, yes, I'm really going through with the affordable housing plan. Already partnered with a local nonprofit to handle applications. And no, I won't be reconsidering my decision. Some bridges deserve to stay burned. Edit 2. For those asking about my sister, Sabrina and I are working things out. She was only 8 when everything happened. Can't blame her for believing their lies. We're getting coffee next week. Edit 3. Holy shit, this blew up. Thanks for all the award. And to those saying I'm being too harsh, try being left at a gas station at 16 and see how forgiving you feel.